Welcome to Special Education with Hamid Naqvi. Today we'll continue with the discussion we are having on the topic Introduction to Linguistics. This is going to be part 4 of the series, and in this particular video we are going to discuss what is syntax, what are the rules of syntax in English language, and then at the end we'll compare the syntax of English language with the syntax of Urdu language briefly. So let's start. For the beginners, let me remind you that linguistics is the scientific study of language. We study language scientifically, and we focus on sounds, words, and structure of words, sentences, meanings, and grammar rules. Components of language we are discussing, and they are phonetics, which deal with speech sounds. Then they are phonology, which is basic of which is phonemes. Then morphology, the basic of which are words and word formation. And then syntax, which we are going to discuss today. The syntax deal with phrases and sentences and how the arrangement of different words is done in a sentence. And then semantics, which deals with the meaning of phrases and sentences, and then pragmatics, which is meaning in context of a discourse. So this is a slide which shows the components of language and where we are. This is our fourth video, as I said, on the topic, and we are going to talk about syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is a term borrowed from ancient Greek word synthesis. From syn, which means together, taxis, which means arrangement, we derive that in the field of linguistics, syntax is the order or the arrangement of words and phrases to form proper sentences. We discussed about morphology, word formation. We discussed about phonetics, which dealt with sounds. We are going to now discuss how different words are put together, arranged together, and to form a proper sentence according to the set rules. The importance of this is that as syntax is the study of how words and phonemes combine to form larger units such as phrases or sentences, we need word order and arrangement among various constituents of a sentence. So let us clarify one misconception. Syntax is not concerned with meanings. Syntax, it is only the study of structure of constituents at sentence level. We have nothing to do in syntax regarding the meaning. We are only concerned about the health of a sentence from a syntax point of view, rules point of view. There might be some sentences that have no sense, but grammatically they may be correct. And Chomsky has given an example which is often quoted in the literature, and that is he wrote a sentence: colorless green ideas sleep furiously. It is nonsense. Meaning is not that sensible, but it is grammatically There is no fault in it. That is absolutely grammatically correct. Similarly, this word, as this sentence, sleep, ideas, colorless, furiously green. It is grammatically incorrect. So, right from the outset, we are clear that we are going to talk about the formation or the arrangement of a sentence which is grammatically correct in syntax. And obviously, the key words are that we are going to arrange the words in a syntax, according to syntax rules. So, words form parts of speech. Parts of speech of any language have been one of the traditional division of words in grammar, and obviously according since they concerned with grammar, so syntax is part of grammar. So these words behave differently from each other in language. We have 8 or 9 parts of speech in English language. Each has a different characteristics, features, and they are combined together. So let's be very clear about that. Nouns are name of people, places, things, and ideas. Pronouns take the place of nouns. Verbs show action or state of being. Adjectives describe or modify nouns and pronouns. Propositions show the relationship between a noun and a pronoun. Adjectives describe or modify nouns and pronouns. Conjunctions join 2 or more words, phrases, or clauses, and interjections show excitement or emotions. So these are 8 parts of speech, and we know what are their characteristics, what are their features, how they are going to be employed in a structure of a sentence. Broadly, we can distribute all these POS, means parts of speech, in 2 groups. Lexical or content words. Lexical words are called open class words also, and include noun, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And open class means new items are added to the class over a period of time. Then there is second group of parts of speech, and that is called functional or grammatical words. And functionals and grammatical words are closed class words, are conjunctions, prepositions, articles, and pronouns. And the above 4 were open class words, and these 4 which I have just mentioned, conjunction, proposition, articles, and pronouns, they are called closed class. Closed class contains a small number of words in which new items are added very rarely. Now, summary of the features of open class of words. As far as nouns are concerned, from morphology point of view, we form plurals. With the house, we use S, becomes houses. These are regular nouns, and there are irregulars also. But primarily, this is the form which they take. Then, from syntax point of view, the nouns can have structure like D. D means determinator, and the example is the new house, right? And from semantics point of view, as I mentioned earlier also, nouns are names of things, places, and persons. Similarly, verbs, tenses, and different forms, and normally the form morphology is you in regular verbs you add ed, it becomes second form and then third form. Then there are irregular verbs, which each one has a different formation. From syntax point of view, may be combined with an auxiliary verb. It can be used independently also and with auxiliary verbs also, like will, would, etc. These are auxiliary verbs. And as mentioned before, from semantics point of view, they describe an action or show a state. Then adjectives is the third one from open class words. This is some adjectives, but also in comparative and superlative degree, like good, better, best, like this. We have morphology of adjectives. That was irregular adjective, which I just gave an example of. From syntax point of view, can have structure like this one, that is the new house, a determinator plus the noun. Describe quality, positive or negative property. This is from semantic point of view. Then the fourth open class is adverb, and from morphology point of view, often formed with ly, suffix really, rapidly, friendly, slowly. And as far as the syntax part is concerned, that is second part is concerned, a really new house with adverb, adjective, and then describe manner, degree. This we have already talked about. Now there is a second class of words. Mind you, we are discussing these because we might make to use appropriate use while arranging them in sentence, clause, whether it is clause, whether it is a phrase, or whether it is a sentence. So the second half is closed class. Second half of these words is closed class of words. And the closed class of words mainly include the following categories: determiners, then auxiliary verbs, then pronouns, then prepositions, and then conjunctions. Then each one of them is explained here. Determiners include both definite and indefinite articles, that is a and the. Quantifiers, that is many, any, all, several, and possessives like my, your, his, her. These are determiners, and the syntax of determiners is they can take place before nouns and or adjectives, like this, the new house. Auxiliary verbs, they include modal and other auxiliaries such as will, may, must, shall, would, can, have. The syntax of auxiliary verbs is they are followed by a verb. Example, it will rain. Will is auxiliary verb here. You must be quiet. Must is auxiliary verb in the second sentence. Negated directly, not. Example is he cannot. Immediately after that auxiliary verb not comes. Then the third one is pronouns. These are words that stand for a noun or a whole noun phrase, such as I, you, he, she, we, they, me, him, her, us, them. It makes sense to classify possessives as determiners. Syntaxically, pronouns and possessive behave differently. Pronouns act as noun, but possessive modifies the noun, like this. Then next one is propositions, and they mainly include in, on, about, with, at, to, of, under. And from syntax point of view, stand before noun phrases. The example is also given here. on the table with nice colors about this. Then the next one is conjunctions. They mainly include for, and, but, or, but. But has been written twice. Sorry for the mistake. Syntax connect two words, phrases, clauses, and sentences on the same level. An example is this: woman and man. Very simple state. Now we come to the next part of this video, and that is syntax rules of English language. Here we are going to mention few main rules, not all rules. It's not possible in this short time. So some main rules. Rule number one is a sentence must contain a subject and a verb, and the order of these two parts of speech must be subject verb, SV. The subject can be a noun or a subject or indefinite pronoun. John loves Susan. The subject can be a dummy subject, but a subject must be in sentence. It is hot today. Rule number two. Subjects and verbs must agree in number. For example, if the subject is a singular, the verb must also be singular in form. He drives too fast. He is driving too fast. He has driven too fast. Plural, they drive too fast. Now, the rules, the examples tell us that the subject and verbs must agree in number. And here we find they do agree. Rule 3, verbs tenses must be consistent throughout the paragraph and document. Do not switch between sentences. This is rule 3. Incorrect. Anthony and Kadeem listen to hip hop music and practice their dance moves. And the correct one is Anthony and Kadeem listened to the hip hop music and practiced their dance moves. Rule 4 is a sentence must begin with a capital letter and end with one of these punctuation marks. This is a rule. Very simple, straight, so need not any explanation. The examples are given here. Rule 5 is articles are used with nouns. This has been mentioned earlier also. A and an are articles. And the example is also given. When introducing a singular noun for the first time, always use a or an. In the follow-up sentences, use the. This is normally because the first uses introduces the general topic and the follow-up sentences become more specific. Rule 5. Preposition or words used only with nouns or pronouns to form a phrase. Prepositions are important for the meaning. They show the relationship between the nouns in the sentences. Notice the difference in meaning caused only by the choice of preposition. My pencil is under my book. So this is rule 6 regarding the use of prepositions with nouns. Rule 7. Adjectives and adverbs can be used in the base form, in the comparative form, or in the superlative form. The base form of the adjective is used to describe one noun. The base form of the adverb is used to describe one word, adjective, or another verb. The comparative is used to compare two. The number of syllables in the base form is important. One syllable, add er suffix. Two syllables, use more than that. The superlatives are used to compare three or more. Again, the number of the syllables is important. One syllable, add es suffix. Two syllables, use the most, and that is all. Now, these were some rules regarding syntax. Now, we are moving to some practical examples, and that is syntax. First, we are going to discuss the structure of English language, and then compare it with Urdu language. Now, what is phrase structure? Phrase structure describes the given language syntax and closely associated with the earlier stages of transformational grammar proposed by Noam Chomsky in 1957. They are used to break down natural language sentences into its constituent parts, also known as syntactic categories. Now, what is this? We have a sentence, and we have so far discussed close and open type of words. And what we do in structure, that we break the sentence and we then name it, which category they belong to, which part of speech they belong to. The example is coming next. Phrase structured grammar is the one in which constituent structures are represented by phrase structure rules or rewrite rules. Now here it is precisely given how this is done. A right arrow using the greater than symbol is placed immediately after S. S means sentence, to indicate that element that follow is constituents of S, that means sentence. In the noun phrase, and the short of noun phrase is NP, is the subject, and the verb phrase is VP, word phrase. The NP, that is noun phrase, is represented by noun, and VP is represented further split, and it consists of verb and noun phrase NP, that is VNP. When V represents helping verb and NP consists of the determiner. Determiner short of that is that. And smaller NP, that is that NP, where that is represented as NP further. This example will clarify. Don't be confused by these terms, because these are the terms which are being used here. See this? These are the abbreviations which would be used in the structure table. So please, unless you know these terms, you would not be able to encode and decode that structure and syntactical structure. Wherever you find N, it would means we are talking of noun, V, verb, adjectives, adverb, D or that is determiner, auxiliary verbs, pronoun, this is preposition, this is conjunction, this is word, this is phrase. Wherever you find P, it is phrase, and wherever you find CL, it is clause, and S, as I have already mentioned, it means sentence. See this? This is the syntax structure. On top of it, this is S, NP, VP. This is noun phrase, this is word phrase, noun phrase. This the boy is noun phrase, and further it has been divided into determiner is the, and this is noun is boy. This is verb phrase, and see this is verb, and then this is pronoun, and this is again noun phrase here, determiner, and this is again noun here, ball. The boy played with the ball has been the syntax structure of this sentence has been analyzed here in this particular diagram. I want to take you back . Now please note here one thing. And that one thing is that subject, verb, and then object. S O subject S W O. That is the boy is subject, played is verb, and the ball is object. S V O. That is the structure of a sentence in English language. Now let's see the phrase structure of Urdu language. As I mentioned there, unlike languages such as English, Urdu does not follow SVO order in the construction of sentences. I just demonstrated that English language follows SVO structure, that is subject, verb, and object. What happens in Urdu? Urdu word order follows the SOV order. First there is subject, then there is object, then there is verb. Compare it and you find the difference. It is SVO and it is SOV order. That is the difference between phrase structure of Urdu and phrase structure of English. Here is an example. वो फुटबॉल खेलता है. No, वो is subject, football is object, खेलता है is verb. So structure has been changed in Urdu. The phrase structure is said to be an arrangement of words. Now I'm just summing it up. The phrase structure is said to be an arrangement of words. Phrase cannot be used alone. They are used as part of sentence. Unlike other languages such as English, Urdu does not follow this. This has already been mentioned and talked about. This is a standard syntactic word order in Urdu language, and the example is Ali football खेलता है, वो घर पे नहीं सो रहा और हम बाहर जा रहे हैं. See this same structure is being followed. These examples follow SOW order. And see this analysis here in that form. This is S indicates sentence, V verb, NB noun phrase, and again NB. Hamid ne kitab kharidi. This has been analyzed, the structure in Urdu. I hope you like this video. If you like it, share it with your friends. If you're here on the channel for the first time, subscribe it and press the icon so that next video you get notification on time.